Well, we have a public service announcement for you. We didn't expect to be bringing you this, but our crack control room team just minutes ago spotted the creepy porn lawyer in his natural habitat on CNN. They had the sound off, so they couldn't hear what he was saying, but honestly, it hurt our feelings a little bit. This is maybe the fifth or sixth other TV network he has done in recent days. We've invited him repeatedly onto this show, and he has repeatedly turned us down. We're going to ask him one more time, and we know that he's watching. Creepy porn lawyer, you always have a home on this 8 p.m. program. Anytime, we'll clear the decks for you. Hope to see you soon. Well, the FBI, like other federal organizations, has been trusted with enormous power. They can break down your front door. They can put you in jail. They're supposed to use these powers to protect Americans, and they do to some extent. But increasingly, we've seen instances of the FBI abusing its power and depriving citizens of their civil liberties. We have an obligation to speak out against that. The most obvious recent case is that of Carter Page. He was labeled a foreign agent and spied on for more than a year by the Obama administration based on the assertions in the Steele dossier, assertions which the FBI never even bothered to verify. What should we make of this? Mark Penn was an advisor to Bill Clinton. He joins us tonight. Mark, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
So I've been struck not simply by the fact this happened, but by the reaction to it. Here you have a guy who was a naval officer, a Annapolis graduate, never been charged with anything, and he was spied on for a year, and the normal chorus of civil libertarians have been totally silent. Why is that?
I find it's incredible. I think people just use talking points that they had before you could actually read the warrant. I think any fair-minded person who reads this warrant comes away with the conclusion that there was no probable cause, that they scared a bunch of judges with 10 stories about potential Russia collusion, the Steele dossier, the Yahoo story that was really from Steele, and even when Steele was fired and he was compensated, he was actually on the payrolls of the FBI, the DNC, and the Hillary Clinton campaign at the same time. Mind you, even when that was discovered, they continue to use this information, indicating they had nothing else. The idea that a government can spy on political campaigns with no evidence is frightening and needs to be corrected with legislation immediately.
So the precedent this sets, we're all living in this moment, and it's very hard for us to see even a week ahead, but you've been in the White House and political campaigns. There will be another administration at some point, and then one after that. What does this mean for them? Will any president ever be able to trust that the FBI is not spying on him or his campaign?
Well, I saw in '98, working with President Clinton, the stress and strain on the president, the White House, the warping of decisions that occur with these investigations. You can see this. I don't see it personally, but you can see the kind of stress and strain now. Everyone who participated in the campaign, everyone who is an associate of Donald Trump is being shaken down, investigated, reviewed. This kind of thing is just not compatible with an open democracy where we decide things by elections. We've got to make changes here because you're going to be afraid about the FBI, the CIA, all of the intelligence agencies, what they could be doing, and not only when you're the president, but when you're running a campaign against the president. What sets this country apart is peaceful transition of government.
We're really playing with some very heavy-duty things here. Very quickly, do you think that in the next year or two there's a legislative answer that can restore confidence in these agencies?
Oh, I think that an ombudsman has to be appointed for all of these warrants in the FISA court. I think that for any warrants that really involve Americans, and particularly Americans in political campaigns, a special, really, judges and procedure so that the highest bar is established. And it's unbelievable that we haven't already moved to do that.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Mark Penn, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maxine Waters back in the news. Especially amazing this time. Don't go away. Maxine Waters is one of the Trump administration's loudest and most persistent critics. She is beloved on the left, not for the clarity of her arguments. She doesn't really make coherent arguments. But because of her certainty, Maxine Waters has no doubt about anything she says. She knows for a certainty that she is right. How does she know that? Because God told her so.
that I've been sent to do, and as Pastor said to me when I came in this morning, when God sends you to do something, you just do it. I take out the watch said tomorrow morning, I'm going to tell them Pastor told me to come here and just do it.
There you have it. Maxine Waters isn't really a political figure anymore. She is a theologian, and that's why she fits in so perfectly on the modern left, which has become a kind of religious sect. The point isn't to convince voters anymore. It's to convert heretics and burn witches. If you're wondering why it's so hard to argue with progressives, this is why. They know before you utter a single word that they are virtuous and you are sinful. End of conversation. It's like debating a Hare Krishna. You won't get far. In some ways, it's the story of the show every night, and it's also exposed in great detail in the new book, Ship of Fools, which is coming out in October. You can order it now if you like. It explains a lot. That's it for us. Stay cheerful. It's our duty. See you Monday.